and he's not, so I'm just recording. And I
Okay,
figure
good.
you guys always like to watch it again anyway. Hold on one second, guys. Oh, I don't know who that is. Okay. All right. So when I'm looking for this setup, as I was showing you, Kaylin, the other day, I'm really looking for that very first candle that looks something like this. I'm gonna get rid of these for right now so we can just really focus on the candles, and then I'll bring these back on. Whenever I'm only doing this. Oh, I'm on the 1 minute. No wonder why it looked funny. Okay, so whenever I'm on the 1 hour, I'm not on the charts all day when I do this strategy. I will really just come and wait till I see this type of a candle right here, or this type of a candle. So once I see that candle, either I'm dropping down to the 15 right then and there to see, okay, is this thing ready to go now? Because sometimes it's ready to go right now when you see this candle. Or if I see it's not when I drop down to the 15 or the 5, then I know to just come back and check probably like in 30 minutes or 45 minutes or the next hour. As soon as that next candle forms, I expect it to take off. So that's a good way to not be on these charts all day, because I know that a lot of you that are trying to do this strategy, that's been the issue, is how do you get off the charts how do you stop being on the charts all day but still catch a good amount of pips. And I'll tell you, I did this last week, and I did it for one of you that are on, just to purposely show you that you can do this. What I did is I set my alarm clock on my phone for 10:50, 11:50, 1:50, and I did it for 10 minutes before the hour, just so I knew to come on and look for this specific setup every single, like at the start of every hour. And I didn't take a lot of trades. I took whatever was available. And if you guys have been doing this strategy, you'll see you won't have a lot of setups. It'll be like maybe 2 setups at the beginning of every hour for whichever pairs are have this setup going. And I just took that from like 9 a.m. all the way till 10 p.m. at night. I just did that. I would log on real quick in the beginning, take 1 or 2 trades, and I would take 2 positions at a 0.10 for each. 2 positions. And I did that for the entire week. And at the end of the week, on a 0.10, I made $2,200. So this absolutely works. And this was not me on the charts all day. I just wanted to see if I did that, just that simple strategy of just look every hour, just see if I see one available. If I see one available, take two trades at that lot size. That's not even a big lot size. And that's how much came out of it. So you can imagine if you're even doing this a quarter of that, because I did, like I said, I did that from like 9 to 10, just jumping on like that real quick. If you even take a quarter of that, then you're looking at a minimum of like $400 to $500 just doing that. If you're just jumping on maybe 2 or 3 hours out of the day. So there's always going to be at least 1 to 2 setups that you guys can take, but make sure you're taking at least 2 positions because you want to get the most out of that move. So I jump on and I'm looking for this. So I'll go through, I have a list. I mean, I know the list in my head already, but you guys, if you don't have it, I know when I first started doing this, I would keep the list on my laptop of every single pair so that I can run through them. And you just want to quickly run through all the pairs and look for this specific candle. Because once you see it and you mix in the 10 and the 13, I'm not even going with the 124 right now. We're going to keep this very basic. Once you see this candle and you see that the 10 and 13 are above on a sell, now you know this next candle, if this next candle shoots out, you're good. You're good on 10 pips. If you want to wait for this bar, which you should do if you're new, I won't, because I can really tell these charts a lot better. This candle will be a little riskier. You can still go for it if you want, but you need to watch it because it's risky because that bar is still pointing up. But once that bar points down, you're getting those 10 pips. 100% you're getting them. So what I do is always wait for this candle. What you can look at this candle as is almost like someone waving a red flag at you, like, hey, look at me because we're about to have 10 pips. That's what this candle is every time I see it. If you see it right here again, 10 pips right after, you're going to get those 10 pips. So let this candle be that for you, but it has to be on the Heikin-Ashi candles, because the regular candles, you're going to see this often. You don't see it as often with the Heikin-Ashi candles, not when there's a reversal. So if it's going in one direction and you finally see this candle with Heikin-Ashi, it's 100% going to give you 10 pips going the opposite direction, as long as everything else aligns. Now, if you see this 10 and 13 are like above and it's a buy, something's not right there, like right here. If you see it going above the candles, then it's not right. It always has to be below if it's going up and above if it's coming down. So this is going to be your step 1. You're looking for this candle. Your step 2 is you're looking to make sure that this 10 and 13 are either above or below, depending on the direction you're trading in. And it has to look just like this. They have to have crossed and they have to be completely below. Sometimes you're going to catch a candle where it's going through it. Let me see if I see that. Where it's going a little bit through. I like to wait on those. Like right here. It's above, but it's kind of going through. So anytime I see stuff like that with the 10 and 13, I'm going to wait. It needs to be clear to me that it's either completely below or completely above it. So I know that's a sure thing. And then step 3 is you're going to make sure that that AC confirms. So you want it to be the same color as the trade you're doing. So if you guys, I know you all have different colors. I've seen your charts. So if a buy for you is green, obviously for me it's white, then you want to make sure those bars are green. Because if they're the other color, that's a problem. And I know we went through this week, Kaylin. This right here, this is a perfect example. This is a risky trade, even though you can see right here it took off on that first bar. Because I always tell you guys, try to get that first bar. A lot of times that previous bar, that little bar, is a good entry. A lot of times. But you have to watch your trade, because that's still risky, because it didn't switch over into the buy or sell zone that you're looking to enter. So you can enter on this previous little bar if it's small. Just know you have to watch those trades, because they have a tendency once in a blue moon not to get to that full 10 pips because they never went over to the other side. But with these, whenever you see the bar changes color, and here we are, we're a buy, and then we go to a sell real quick, this is always a risky trade. I rarely take these. Even though they're about 50% of the time they're good, but that's not good enough for me. I've taken them in the past, and then I know, Kaylin, you experienced this. They don't make the 10 pips. And now you're kind of screwed, because what happens with these a lot of the times is they completely do a sharp reversal. And the reason for that is because, remember, these bars here, they're going through cycles. So you see them cycling up, they go into a buy, and then they start to come back down into a sell. And then they go into what's called the sell zone. And then they're selling, and now they're starting to reverse into the buy zone, and then they should flip up. But what happens is right here, when you look at stuff like this, these are trends. So now they're trending. They're going a lot longer than they should. Because really, you're going to see a lot of this. If you guys look at the markets, it's going to go up and come down and up and come down. It just looks like hills. But whenever it starts to trend, you get this. And that's why I tell people, don't jump into trending markets. If it's already trending in a certain direction, going all the way down or all the way up, you got to wait for that thing to be over. And you're better off waiting for it to be over and catching it. See, there's that bar. And then you can catch this next bar going up. That's a high probability trade. I prefer to take high probability trades as opposed to just jumping in on a trend that either might be over. I might catch it at the very end, or you might catch it on a fake out where they got everybody to jump in right at that moment and then they shoot up. So I'd rather take this position. I'd rather wait for this whole move to be over. I know I missed it and I know it was a lot of pips, but I'm going to jump in on this. And I'm going to open up more positions, because now I feel a lot better about this probability on this trade right here. There's my reversal candle. I'm going to wait for it to be either a tiny little white bar, or I'm going to wait for it to be pointing up, which is what I prefer. And I'm going to catch my 10 pips. And since I'm so sure on that trade, I'm going to open up more positions. I'll probably open up 3 or 4 positions. So I'm going to make probably what most people made on this move. I'm going to make it on this quick 10 pips. Does a lot of this make sense to you guys?
Yes, it does.
Yes, makes sense.
Shafa?
Yes, yes.
It does? Okay. Because
Yes,
I
it
really
does.
want you to get this too, because I want you to really focus on this particular strategy. Because with your schedule, if you can just get this, you'll be able to hop on just like, and I purposely did that for you last week because I wanted you to see that you can do this in small increments of time. If you guys just jump
Okay.
on at the beginning of every hour and do this, you will get at least 1 to 2 pairs. I think there was maybe like 3 or 4 hours out of that entire week last week where I didn't find anything. And those hours were between 4 and 6, where I believe I didn't find anything like twice. And the other hour was, I believe the other hour was 11 to 12 that I didn't find anything. So you guys might want to avoid those hours. But the rest
Yeah,
of the hours throughout the day, I always found at least one pair where it was doing exactly that. I saw this candle, and then I knew the next candle would be, if it was strong, I was getting in for it. So something like this, if you see a candle like this, and you're waiting, okay, you see the 10 and the 13 went above it, and then the very next candle is this, I'm not getting in on that. I need to see this strong type of candle. This candle right here, I already know when it formed, it was small. Right now it's a little bigger, but when it first formed, it looked like this. I stare at these charts so much. So when you see this type of candle, you already know that's not a strong candle. So you might not get your 10 pips. So I don't jump in for that. You should always see a very strong candle coming right after a reversal candle, and that's the only one you're jumping in on. And it has to match up with that AC and not be farther than about 2 bars in. Anything like the third bar, yes, you can still sometimes get your 10 pips just like this because it's trending. But again, it's not guaranteed. And I just like to take trades that are guaranteed. Because once you get really good at this strategy, you guys will be able to take higher lot sizes and not be afraid because you know 9 out of 10 times it's going to hit. So you're going to grow your accounts fast that way just off of the 10 pips. Do you guys have any questions? Feel free to ask anything you guys are confused about on this because this is just for you guys. Like I really want you to get this.
So Stacy, I have them on my chart, but I have not used the 10 and the 13 yet.
Really?
So I have them on my chart, but
You didn't know how to use them or why?
Yeah, not really.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, I have the 50 and the 124, and then like my candles.
Yeah, see, I didn't even
AC.
add those in yet. If you can really just trade this on this. The 50 and the 124 become an added confirmation, and that's why I've added them because a lot of the newer traders that we were adding to the team started to trade this, and so I wanted to give them even more confirmations because I know when you're just starting to trade, it's very hard to understand a lot of stuff. So I felt like if they had some added confirmations, it'll just make sure that they win this trade. So when you want to add the 50 and the 124, you want to make sure that they've crossed in the direction that you're trading in. Once you see that cross, hold on. And what I'm showing you with the 50 and the 124, Kaylin, is exactly how you're going to treat the 10 and 13. It's the same thing. Whenever they cross, you know you're now heading in a different direction. And I think, Leash, you've been using the 10 and 13.
Yes, I have. I was using it even before this strategy.
Yeah, and it's good, right? It's so accurate.
Yes, I absolutely love the pattern that it makes. It
Yes.
makes so clear.
It makes it very easy to see these reversals because the 10 and 13, You're going to see the reversal happening way before you see it on the 50, on the 124, because it's riding a lot closer to the trade. It's moving almost in sync with the trade, so it's going to show you a lot sooner. But a good way to know, I know it, like if you're jumping in, like that trade you jumped in this week that was deep into the AC, this is always a good gauge for you. So if the 50 and the 124 crossed, then let's just say you jumped in midway, you should still be good for those 10 pips. Let's just say it reverses a little on you. You can know to hang in and ride it out if it crossed here. Because the 124 and the 50, when they cross on the 1 hour, it stays going that direction for a while. It doesn't, like if you see, this doesn't always cross often. So when these two cross, you're going to be going in that direction for a good, sometimes 100 pips. I don't say to take those 100 pips because, again, I really encourage people to stay away from these long moves, especially now with what's going on with the virus. Ever since it started, I feel like the market makers have been just having a field day with trending pairs. They'll be trending, and then all of a sudden there'll be like 160 pip spike to the opposite direction, and they're using a lot of the virus as an excuse to do it. So if you guys can get these 10 pips and get out the market, do that, because right these days, try to stay out as much as you can. So when you see this cross, now you can sit back and say, okay, this thing is definitely buying. So now I'm just waiting for that setup. Here's that candle. I know I'm getting my 10. Now, if you want to jump in and try to catch another 10, you can. Most times you can get another 10, but you have to watch that second trade. Every time you jump back in, that percentage of you getting that 10 goes down. You most likely can catch another 10. I did that a lot this week too. I was testing how many times on how many pairs can I get that extra 10, and I would have to say about a good 80% of them I got that extra 10. But sometimes it just made it to like 8 or 9 pips more, and then it reversed. So you can just go in there for a couple more pips if you guys want, if you're sitting there watching your charts anyway. But just know you might not always get that 10. But that first 10 is always guaranteed after this cross, after the original, that reversal candle and that strong candle up. And again, just let your eyes get used to that AC. Whenever I take a trade, I barely have to even look down. I just know, okay, that bar is pointing up. We're good to go on this next candle. And I already know, if that previous, if the previous candle is down, I already know to start looking for, okay, Stacy, just get ready. Wait for that up candle. Wait for that up bar. As soon as you see it, jump in, grab your 10 pips and get out. So those are really easy ways to jump in these trades, guys. You don't have to know all these patterns or all these different butterfly patterns and other things that I sometimes look for. You guys don't have to know that yet. You can make a really good amount of money just doing this simple strategy over and over. I mean, I honestly do this on a 5-minute chart as well. If you guys drop down to a 5-minute, if you drop down to a 5-minute, you'll notice that whenever you see that same pattern that we just talked about, I'm going to get rid of these for right now so I can show you. Whenever you see that same pattern with the 10 and the 13, if you're in this for a buy and you see that pattern forming, get out, because it will, whenever you see that pattern on the 5-minute, it's normally not coming in for 5 or 10 pips. It's coming in for a good 10 to 20 pips. So if you're trading in the opposite direction, you're going to be in there for a good drawdown. So even me, if I'm in a trade and I see this happen on the 5-minute, that same exact pattern with that reversal, 10 and 13 are under, there's a strong candle to the opposite direction. If I'm not trading in the right direction, I'm out. I'm out as soon as I see this pattern, because what it shows me is I can, if I do want to continue to trade in that opposite direction, I'm going to wait for it to pull all the way back whenever it's done, and then I'll just get back in. And I can usually catch more pips that way anyway. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
The rest of you? I know
Yes,
some of you are
It does.
quiet.
It makes sense.
No, I
So
want to make sure that
Stacy,
you go ahead.
so can we risk the lot size since we're going for only 10 pips, or we need to be careful
Yes,
with the lot size?
I'm glad you're asking that. And that's why I was saying that's why I'm going over the different probabilities of how when you
Okay.
jump in at different points. If you're
Okay.
jumping in the way I'm first showing you guys with that original reversal candle and that long candle, the probabilities are
Okay.
high. So yes, you guys can go higher on lot size. I'm not saying go nuts and do a standard,
Okay.
but you can go higher. So whatever if you're doing like a 0.05, you can go up to 0.08 if you're a conservative trader. If you're me and you're riskier, I'm going to double whatever I would normally trade, I'm going to double my lot size because I know that
Okay.
that's a safer trade. Now, if you're taking
Okay.
it deeper in to these bars right here, then I say stick to your smaller lot size because you're taking a riskier trade.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And
Stacy,
remember,
do you mean you double your lot size and also take 2 positions, or do you mean
yes.
Okay.
Yes, but as long as it's within your margin level. So make sure, like,
Sure.
I wouldn't have a million trades open on a $300 account and still say, okay, this is a good trade, so let me just double up and higher my lot size. If I'm not in when you're trading this, really the key is not to really be in any other trades because you don't need them. You can really and I purposely did that last week to show people that you and I'll send you guys a little video so you can see what I mean. You can just do this all day long here and there and take whenever you see a setup and open up 2 to 3 positions, and that's it. You don't have to take any other trades and you will make a good amount by the end of the week.
Got it.
Anybody else have questions? Yeah, I'm gonna send you guys a recording of the trades I took so that you guys can get a good idea of what you guys can do on just a small lot size. You don't have to go nuts here. When I say small, I mean 0.10 isn't really small, but as long as you have at least 200 to 300 in there, you can take a trade with that.
I have a little bit of, I just was looking for a little more clarification on using the 10 and 13
Go ahead.
Line because I just haven't done that yet. Besides looking at the candles and all that stuff that I'm familiar with, you're just looking for the 10 and 13 to cross and then to be either on the top or the bottom of the candles. Is that right?
Yes. And what I've also done is I've changed the colors. So normally when you first set this up, I don't know if it's different now because I've had it for so long, but when I used to set this up, this was always one color, the candles. And I don't even know why normally my 10 is a different color completely. Like I have a different shade of red because I like to see the cross. Sometimes I can't see the cross when they're the same exact color. But what I did is I always keep it, whatever the color of my candles are going up, I keep it that color, and whatever they are coming down, I keep it that color to mainly show myself that there's a change happening here, because this will draw your attention sometimes. Sometimes you'll see that reversal candle and then the 10 and the 13 will still be the color of a buy. So that right here will tell me like, wait a minute, hold on, something's off here. Until that thing becomes the color of a sell, I don't care if I see a strong candle here, I'm not taking it. Because usually something's off. It's either a fake out or that thing is starting to come down and then it's gonna shoot back up and completely come right back around. And this will tell you every single time. Hold on one second. I'm gonna call you guys right back. All right. This will tell you every single time because and I'm sure, Leash, you've been using it a little more now. You'll see when it's not aligned properly, like all the way underneath, like right here, It's a little bit off. Like, what is it doing right here? You see how it's under the candle, but it's not turning into a buy. If you look at this right here, it's flat. Now you would think you see this candle right here that these two, they crossed, but it's not shooting up, and one of them is still showing me it's selling. One is buying and one is selling. So this is a perfect example right here. So if you were looking at this, I wouldn't have been waiting for that next candle to buy, because I already see this is not doing what it's supposed to do. So there's no point in me even looking at this pair, because this thing is not going to buy. I already know it's either going to go into consolidation because it's doing this, or it's going to continue back down, and that next candle is just going to shoot down. Do you see this, Kaylin?
Yes, I see.
So this is where you're going to see a lot of the what I call the confusion on the chart, so that you'll know something's off, and it'll keep you out of those bad trades whenever you see this.
Okay. You're basically, I mean, just like everything else, you're looking for everything to match.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Anytime something doesn't match and it's throwing you off, like I've had people send me charts and they're like, okay, I took it and it didn't go the right way, but I should have known because the AC indicator was pointing in the opposite direction. So whenever anything is off, that already tells you everything, like the whole trade is off. Because if not, why are they not all in sync? They should all be showing the same direction. So if they're not all doing that, and once in a blue they won't, but I like to know that I'm taking a high probability trade as opposed to just taking risky trades. Because the whole point of this is not to try to take as many trades as we can. It's to only take the high probability ones. And when you're taking high probability trades, you guys can go up, as you get really good at this, you guys can go up on your lot size. And as your account grows, you guys can take 2 or 3 trades for the week and call it a week. And that's where we're really that's the goal here. Like, I don't really trade that often. I really don't. I'll take a few trades here and there throughout the week. And sometimes if I'm practicing a strategy, I'll take trades more often, like I did last week, to really show something. But other than that, like personally, I could take 2 trades and be done for the week. And that's where you're trying to get. And you can only get there when you're taking high probability trades, because then you can higher your lot size. So this is going to do that for you guys, because you'll get to a point where you have a bigger account size, so you can open up 5 to 7 positions on this thing. So you open up 5 to 7 positions, that's 70 pips in whatever it was, 10, 15 minutes. So while you see a lot of these traders, they're riding out these 100 pip moves for hours, sometimes overnight, you just made 100 pips in like 30, sometimes maybe an hour. And that's just the way I like to trade. It's less risky. You're not in the market too long. And especially when you got these kids running around acting crazy. And I'm not talking about your kids. I'm talking about mine. So it's easier. It's just easier to trade that way.
Wow. Yeah, that's a huge light bulb moment.
Yes. Anybody else? If there's anything you're confused about, just let me know. And Kaylin, you can still add that 1, 2, 4, and 50. I'm not really going over it here, because if you can get this down, then you add the 1, 2, 4, and 50, which you pretty much know how to use. Those are basic as soon as they cross. Now you just have that extra confirmation.
Yeah, okay. I probably will keep them on, just because I'm used to looking at them now, and so it gives me a good overall picture. And what I had been doing was waiting or anticipating a cross on the hour, and then I flipped down to the 15-minute and see if it had already crossed on the 15 minutes, and that kind of helps me have another confirmation too. So
would you guys like another confirmation? Because I'll give you guys 7 or 8 if you want to make sure. Remember, the higher the probability, the more that trade is going to hit. Do you guys want another one?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay, so after you do all of that and you find, hold on, give me 1 second. I just want to get a scrunchie because my hair is bothering me. Hold on. Okay. I'm one of these people that when my hair is like on my neck, it just bothers me. Okay. Okay, so after you've done everything we just talked about and you have the reversal candle, the 10 and 13 are going in the right direction, your AC aligns, you have that big candle that you're waiting for to shoot out. This is before the candle appears. This is you sitting at home and you're saying to yourself, I think that next candle is about to shoot out. I'm going to catch this trade, right? What I do, and this is why I was telling you guys I set the alarm for 10 minutes before the hour. I'm going to switch over to the Renko's chart. And if you don't have Renko's, not all of you will have it if you didn't upgrade. You have to have I think the basic pro plan, at least the basic pro plan to have it. So you're going to switch over to Renko's, which is up here in your candles chart. And what I'm going to do before I jump in that trade as my final confirmation, and if I see this, I'm opening up some extra positions. So I'm going to check the 1 hour, and that's why you guys see I have my hours up here. I have them just up. I don't have to go down and do this anymore. So I start them so that they're just there all the time, so that instead of having to do the drop down, I can quickly just go from the 1 hour to the 2 hour to the 3 hour really quickly. Because, time is of the essence when you guys are doing this strategy, because you have to catch that thing as soon as it takes off. So the 1 hour, I'm looking, okay, it's showing me a sell. The 2 hour showing me a sell. 3 hour, 4 hour. I want to see a sell bar on all 4 hours. Not because I plan on staying in this trade that long, because that's a 4 hour bar, but because I know if it's showing me a sell bar or buy bar, depending on which way I'm trading, if I see a bar in all 4 of those hours, I already know I'm getting 10 pips, because this is way more than 10 pips. If you see a sell or buy bar on all 4 of those hours, that's showing you that you're going to get 20, 30, up to 60 pips minimum. So I know I'm good for 10. I can securely, and I can feel good about taking that 10 pips because I know I'm hitting that number. So that's an extra confirmation you guys can do right before you're expecting that bar to hit, or just to confirm to yourself. Now, what will happen when you guys do this, and it's not going to happen often, it's only going to happen for the bad trades that you weren't supposed to take. What's going to happen is you're going to go through this, you're going to check the 1 hour, let's just say you're doing a sell, and you're on that reversal candle. This is not, the big candle didn't come yet. So you're on that reversal candle, now you're looking at this, you're like, okay, the 1 hour is showing a sell, good. The 2 hours showing a sell, perfect. You're going to hit that 3 hour, and you're either going to see no bar at all, or you're going to see a bar in the opposite direction. And so for those of you that have done this strategy and gotten caught either in drawdown or reversals, this would have told you. This would have told you that was going to happen. Whenever you see that it's going in a different direction, it's because it's about to either consolidate or it's about to shoot out into the other direction. And what this is accounting for is probably a news event, or it's looking at the formation that's being formed in that specific time frame. So it already knows that it's going to shoot out in the opposite direction. So whenever I see that, to me, that's already not a guarantee I'm going to get those full 10 pips. I just don't take it. It's not, I don't care if I can get the 10 pips. It's not worth it to me. I'd rather put more positions on a pair that's showing me consistency than on something that's showing me even one chart is not aligned. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
It does.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and it's a really easy way to confirm. But if you don't see any bars, sometimes you'll go through all those charts and not see any bars on like any of the time frames. Completely stay out of that. Whenever you don't see any bars at all, what it's telling you is even Renko's is not sure. And the only time Renko's is not sure of the direction is because it's seeing multiple patterns. This thing is going off of a lot of patterns. That's how it's able to basically forecast what's about to happen. Now, when it's getting too many different patterns, it just won't show a bar at all. because it's not sure. So when you see that, you need to stay out. You guys have any other questions? You guys are going to love this extra confirmation. Watch this week. I already know at least 2 of you are going to send me a chart that you stood out of because Renkos told you.
I don't think I have any other questions, but that is great to have just something extra. I've never even heard of that chart, so that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really easy to use. I'm going to teach more on it because I use it quite often as an extra confirmation. I don't use it to find trends. I used to, but it's not really good to find trends with it. But as an extra confirmation, it'll always show you if you're going wrong on something, always. Anybody else? All right, guys. So I'm gonna let me just stop the recording so it's not long. I'll send you the recording. Rewatch this if you haven't mastered this.